This series of videos is about what it takes to be a successful business person. To save you time, let's talk about what this channel is, what it is not, why should you watch it, who am I, why should you listen to me, what business credentials do I have, and what about you? What are you going to do with this information? What this channel is, it's foundational business knowledge. It is serious, practical information. It is stuff to put in practice. Yes, we're going to cover some theory, but it's going to be mostly practical information, stuff you can put to use. It is the timeless basic skills that every business person is going to need. If you're going to write a novel, the first thing you do is learn your ABCs. What we're going to cover are the ABCs of business, stuff you need to know before you begin. These are going to be techniques from managing everything from small business to big business. I've been there, done that. We're going to cover marketing, sales, finance, operations, pricing, all of the stuff it takes to operate a business. We're going to use cases, case studies. We're going to use stories. I have advice. I have hints, suggestions, things that work. Obviously, your situation is going to change. Business is a dynamic situation. Your mileage may vary, but without knowing these things, you're likely to fall into these same traps. We're going to learn business language. Confucius said, the beginning of wisdom is to call things by their proper names. We're going to learn the proper terminology. What this channel is not, so let's save some time for those of you who think this is going to be investment advice. It is not. It is not multi-level marketing. It's not get-rich-quick schemes, nothing like that. It is not the high-pressure sales techniques that some people pitch. There will be sales and marketing, but that's not all of it. It's not going to be internet, social media marketing, and so on. But we will talk about sales and marketing, and we will include some of the internet and the most common stuff in use today. It is not going to be the attention-grabbing big noise stuff. Yes, there will be sales and good sales techniques. It is not going to be the good feel emotional fluff that you see in a lot of channels. It is not going to require you to be someone else. You can be yourself and do this. You don't have to be the big extrovert. It is not the current business fad. This is long-term stuff. This is not how to reach the next quarter, anything like that. It is long-term thinking, and it is not a guarantee of success. Your mileage is going to vary, but not knowing this stuff is pretty much a guaranteed fail. Why should you watch? Because you're interested in business. Maybe you're an employee, maybe you're an investor, an owner, maybe you're a researcher in science and you want to know where your funding is coming from, why business people are donating to you. It'll make your job more interesting and maybe just more tolerable because you understand what is going on in the situation in the business or in your organization, and it will open up career paths. Maybe you wish to be a manager. You want practical, usable information. You don't want a bunch of theory, a bunch of hype. You want stuff you can go put in practice tomorrow. 9 out of 10 small businesses fail in the first year. There's a reason why. Big corporations probably fail just about as often, but that's not usually disclosed. You're a manager or you want to manage. That's another good reason to watch. You want to learn, you want to improve your skills. You don't want to be tripped up by something that's already a known problem. You want to make more informed choices at home or at work. You want to know where your pay or funding is coming from. So whether you're in a non-for-profit or you're a low-level employee or a high-level employee, you want to know how you're getting paid and you want to know where your organization's money is coming from. You want to know how business people think. How are they making decisions? Yeah, why did they do this? Why did they say that? And how can you best influence them? If you can get in their shoes, if you can get in their mind, you can better influence them, absolutely for sure. And business decisions affect everything. The very most expensive bad employment decision you can make is to have a bad manager. So why watch me? I'm just an old Midwest farm town boy, and I've got interest in things from dogs, classic movies, travel, reading, diving, flying, and business. In other words, I'm just a regular person. And I've got some real life cred behind me. The things I'm most proud of, well, some people are going to say, yeah, sure, but not one of my employees ever got fired or laid off because of a bad decision I made. No investor ever lost $1 while I was in charge. Find another manager who can make those two claims, and you'll see why I'm so proud of it. Never failed. When I was in charge, my projects always worked, my products always worked, my companies were revived. Whatever my responsibility was, I made it happen. During the course of these videos, I'm going to say some things that some people might consider anti-business. No, I am very much pro-business, but my view is very long-term. My philosophy is looking far into the future, not just the next quarter or the next day. So what have I done? Well, to be frank, most of my job has been cleaning up after other managers' messes. I was the guy who was brought in to fix the things that were going wrong. So domestically and globally, I've been an account manager, I've been a product manager, I've been a product portfolio manager with 4,500 different products, technology marketing, so that's both commercial and consumer, advisor to the CEO, board of directors. I was a general manager, sportswear design, manufacturing, marketing, and that was in my second career. Education and training and business technology consulting. I've done water engineering, solar engineering, and so on. And I've also done a little bit of product design. So who am I? Well, my international experience, I'm not going to read through all these. You can pause and look at it. So these are the countries I've worked in and the countries I have worked with. That's enough about me. As we go on, I will interject some other things in later lectures if you're interested. So what about you? So do you need degrees? Do you need big education? Do you need that top shelf MBA? Well, I'm not going to say any of those things hurt, but let's pick a couple success stories in my own life. My grandmother had 4 years of school. She came to America. She did not speak English. She got married. Her husband died early. She took over his business, and she was very successful. She died a multimillionaire. My great-grandfather had a grade school education. Same kind of story, came to America, didn't speak English, et cetera, built up a huge empire. Bill Gates quit college. So do you need to have college? No. But every one of these cases, they were all readers. They read everything they could get their hands on. I know for certain that my grandmother read every newspaper she could get her hands on. She read every magazine of the time, you know, things like Newsweek, Life, National Geographic. She knew what was going on around the world. So do you need lots of money? Well, a friend of mine's grandparents started their major department store chain by putting 2 refrigerators out front of their house. They sold those, and from there they just grew into a massive department store chain. Do you need to be a genius? Well, it doesn't hurt, obviously, but common sense will help you the most, and a lot. A long time ago, a gentleman named Dale Carnegie wrote a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. A lot of people see it today as out of date, to say the least, but it is not. It still contains the basics of how to get along with people and human nature. It was originally written for salespeople, and he expanded it to include everyone, including family life. I would urge you to get that book and read it every 6 months during your whole career. You say, that sounds radical? No, it's an easy read, it's a quick read, well worth it, and it will keep you well grounded in humanity, something that's very important. And frankly, it's missing in a lot of managers today, and it can be a benefit to you when you deal with others, because if you have a trait that other people are lacking, your competitors are lacking, that makes you stand out. You have to really be able to listen. Employees, customers, suppliers, listen to the news. Really listen. Don't look for things that support your own views. Listen to other people. Integrate those into your thinking. Yes, the good and the bad. Speaking is important, but speaking is secondary to listening. As far as your own personal nature goes, being a little bit stubborn helps, a little bit. It keeps you on track. It lowers your waffling, your indecision, problems like that. Also, if you have a refuse to fail attitude, that doesn't hurt either. I can tell you that will push you through some hard times. If you have problems with indecision, that needs to be overcome, no question about it. And you also need to learn pragmatic psychology. As an example, we tend to overemphasize the information we hear first and last. And even small gifts from people, something as simple as a ballpoint pen or whatever the things you get at trade shows, that will influence your thinking about people and companies for the good or bad. You can look at Charlie Munger's Psychology of Human Misjudgment. It's a video, it's online, it's free, and it's worth watching a lot. So what happens when you truly learn something? So I'm not going to tell you that you just go through and memorize the terminology and whatever. That's not going to work for you. My favorite example is if I went through and I memorized a surgery textbook, nobody is going to let me operate on them. I don't care how much I can repeat that textbook forward and backward, nobody is going to let me touch them with a scalpel. You have to have the pragmatic knowledge. You have to have the ability to integrate that knowledge and change your behavior with it. Do not fool yourself. A lot of people say, oh, I could do this if I really wanted to. If I really tried, I could do this. And the answer is no. That's fooling yourself. Your brain is part of your body. If your brain does not have the discipline to do something, then your body's not going to follow. They are inseparable parts of one thing. So get used to that. Discipline your brain, make your body go along with it. This series of videos is going to cover the basics of business. Some of them, to be frank about it, are going to be more interesting. Some are going to be less interesting. Some of them are going to be difficult for you. I would suggest that you focus on those the most, because those will be areas of weakness that your competitors, whether it be a manager competing for the job you want or an external firm competing for your business, those are going to be the weaknesses that they exploit. Okay, so focus on those, watch all of them, but be sure to focus on the ones that you find difficult or maybe less interesting. Okay, let's get on with it.